Hey everyone, I was thinking that it would be nice for me to come and film a video at the beach, so that's where I am today. My hair doesn't quite appreciate me coming here today, but hopefully it will bear with me so that I can get through this video. I just thought that it would be cool to come. This is actually one of the last places that I saw my best friend, not at this beach, but at a beach. So I thought that it was fitting for me to come back to the beach and just do this video for him. So please stay tuned so that you can hear the story about my friend Lewis. So I met Lewis when we were 11 years old. I think everybody knows I'm from Buffalo, New York, and I was born and raised there. So though I live in Florida and I've been here for quite some time, I'm never going to assimilate. So I'm still a New Yorker at heart. But Lewis and I met in middle school, and we had a really good group of friends. And I think I mentioned that in my first video. Like, I'm really grateful. Like, I had a good childhood because I have those kinds of friends. So shout out to you all. I don't talk to you guys all the time, or definitely don't see you, but I appreciate you. I wish that I could remember, like, the time that I felt like, okay, like, he's cool, like, we're friends, but because of how our group was, it's kind of like, there's a group of guys, a group of girls, and then, somebody was friends with somebody else, and then, like, we all just kind of started hanging out together. So I just can't remember an exact time or, place or anything, but neither here nor there at this point. We started getting a lot closer when I was in high school. We started spending a lot of time together then, which was kind of ironic because I had actually moved from the town we were living in, so I was a lot further away, but for some reason we just, really stayed in contact. Despite of that, I was pretty much there every weekend anyway with one or another of my friends. But he and I started hanging out by ourselves a lot, and that was cool because he just has such a great personality that you just want to be around him. Like, he's funny, he's silly, but, he can be serious when he needs to. It's like, I don't know, he's a tad bit moody or something. I don't know, because you just never knew what kind of mood he was going to be in. But for the most part, it was happy-go-lucky and, always smiling. I'm going to post some pictures on this video as well, so you'll definitely be able to see. He was just a kid that was always smiling. He had an infectious laugh and smile, and that was just such a big deal. And God, do I miss that. Lewis and I literally hung out so much during junior year that my mom was like, I think you guys are going to get married. But this is like my friend. Like, this is like really my homie. Like, he wasn't even someone I looked at romantically. He's a very handsome kid. But I don't know. It was just like he just had this personality about him that made people want to be around him. And so I don't know, I didn't really look at him like that at the time. Looking back, like, I wish I did. Like, I don't know, maybe both of our lives would be different. We did have some weird moments. Like, I don't know, I think everybody in our group were just, like, really close, and so maybe things kind of got confused sometimes, but this one day we were just hanging out, we were walking back from our friend's house by ourselves, and he just, like, grabbed my face and just started kissing me, like, all over my face. So that was really super random. I don't know where that came from. I don't think we ever really talked about it again. So I don't know, like, he's just a random kid, like, but yeah, there was never anything romantic with us, and so I don't know where my mom came up with that. She, has a lot of thoughts that aren't always right. What's interesting about Lewis and our friendship was that my dad just didn't care about letting me hang out with him. Like, I'd ask him, oh, will you drive me to Lewis's house and, or to meet him somewhere, and, I'd be like, all right, like, not really, like, suspicious in any way. Like, I don't know if he pulled him aside at some point, was like, look now, I'm a firefighter, so I will kick your butt if you hurt my daughter. I don't know if that, conversation took place at some point and he had already inflicted the fear of God in him, but, it was cool. Like, my dad didn't even care about me hanging out with him. It was like, oh, whatever, like, no, is this parent's gonna be home? Like, what are y'all doing? When are you gonna be back? Like, it wasn't even an interrogation. Like, my whole family loved him. Lewis and I hung out a lot by ourselves, from, him coming to my house to me going to his house, us going to the mall on the weekends, just hanging out and watching movies. And so it really was cool to have that kind of a guy friend where, it wasn't anything romantic. It was just like, a guy that you could go to. And Lewis did so many crazy things all the time. It was just so funny. Like, he would just lift you up when you were feeling bad. And I remember on Valentine's one day, which, like, what young teenage girl doesn't feel bad on Valentine's Day if they don't have anybody? Lewis called me on Valentine's Day and was like, this is Dr. Love calling to wish you a happy Valentine's Day. I was like, really? But it made me laugh, and, like, it was just so cool to have that kind of a friend that would just, like, call and be goofy and just always uplift you. So that was really neat. So I don't remember if it was Valentine's Day or if it was another day, but we were listening to the R. Kelly song, If I Could Turn Back the Hands of Time, and I know I'm showing my head, but it is what it is, and he is like, can this be our song? I'm like, sure. I don't know why he thought of that at that moment, but he was a pretty random freaking person, so I didn't really ask questions. I knew to just expect whatever at any given time, but it was all good. It was all in fun. Everything was always mostly positive. So that was really cool, and definitely fitting for just how things turned out with him and our friendship. And I don't know, maybe it was like a premonition. Lewis and I had a really big falling out, which I talked about a little bit in my first video. So if you haven't watched it, go back and watch that, in high school, because of homeboy, and my best friend getting with this guy that I was, talking to, and it was just really a big thing. And because Lewis was friends with homeboy, it turned into, a choosing of sides type thing, and I was so very hurt by this whole situation, and the fact that Lewis would get involved in it and choose sides just because that's his bro. Like, I guess, bros over hoes is popular in the 90s, but, well, it's like early 2000, but the whole bros over hoes thing was a little bit overrated. And I'm thinking at the time, like, dog, I'm your bro, like, we're cool, we're such good friends, like, why would you even take sides in something like this that was already so very political? We already had so many people with different opinions, and I had my opinions, and some of my friends had their opinions, and so it was like, I feel like if everybody would have maybe just stayed in their lane, and maybe some of these things wouldn't have happened. But nonetheless, Lewis and I had got into it, and it was like not even a fight with each other. It was like me feeling like he was taking somebody else's side and, kind of sticking up for somebody, or trying to be loyal to someone other than me. And and that's just 16-year-old Reese talking. That's how I was feeling at the time. And so he and I got into it really, really, really bad, and I might have slapped him, and I really feel horrible saying this, and I hope his mama doesn't come for me, because I don't know if she knows this. It turned out really bad. Lewis and I ended up not speaking for a year and a half, and that was just devastating to me in its own right as well, because we were so close and we were such good friends. And so losing him, especially over something that was avoidable, was really hard for me to deal with. And it still bothers me to this day, you know, I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like I wanted that year and a half. You know, looking back on everything, I want that year and a half, and I'm mad that I didn't have it at the time. So as though it was some sort of divine intervention, a year and a half goes by and Lewis and I end up in the same orientation class at Buff State. So it was just so random that we were in a group of probably at least 100 or more people, and I didn't see him until the very end. I don't know if he saw me. I didn't, you know, really ask him at the time, but it was like there was so many people around, and it's like these people just kind of dispersed and cleared like a movie, and then there he was, like sitting there, and he was just sitting there and just waved, and it was like definitely all that it took for us to just pick back where we left off. And so we went and started talking at orientation and just caught up. I think we might have went somewhere and talked, but I don't even think we talked about the situation. I don't think there was any apologies made. Like, I just think that it was just like, you know, all this time had gone by, like everything was forgotten. Like, I missed you, you missed me, and we're just moving on. And that's a really true testament to, I think, both of our character, is that we were able to do that and just kind of put, you know, petty situations aside. I mean, I feel like we were both definitely at fault in, you know, our falling out, and so it was just nice and beautiful that we were able to just rekindle our friendship. So it was cool that I was going to Buff State and I was dorming, and Lewis was going to be on campus all the time, so he was pretty much at my dorm every day that I wasn't at work, and just doing crazy things to terrorize me. Just some really quick, funny things that he did to me. So this one day when I went to sit at my desk at my dorm, I saw that on my notepad he had written like randomness, like he used my initials and was like, you know, all kinds of obscenities, like, you know, S is for this and S is for that and S is for that, and like, what the heck? So I had no idea he was over there, like, you know, I don't even know, God knows when, like, he did it. Like, he would just do so much random stuff and wait for me to find it. It was ridiculous. So I, you know, was like, whatever. And I actually kept that for a very, very, very long time. I don't know where it is anymore. I guess it's likely gone, but I kept that for a very long time. And even though it was like horrible. But another time I had like a poster in my dorm. This was like, you know, years ago, so posters were cool. I don't know if posters are still cool, but I had a poster in my room, and I don't even remember what it was of, but he had written, and it was right above my bed too, so he had to literally be like on my bed, like doing this, and leaned over at an angle. So he had written, let's go to Starbeezy and get a frappuccino on my poster. Like, why would you deface my stuff? Like, what is wrong with you? I wasn't even mad. My best friend Jennifer was actually there with me, and she's like, you know, Starbucks sounds pretty good, why don't we go? So we ended up going to Starbucks based on his recommendation, and we had the poops from Starbucks like that whole night. We don't know what the heck went on with Starbucks that night, but both of us had like the poops for like at least a day, and we were like, darn you, Lewis. So he just I don't know what was wrong with him. Like, what would possess him to come over him to do these things? Another time I got in my car and CDs weren't like standard, CD players weren't standard in cars. You know, if I'm talking to young people, y'all just have no idea what the struggle was like back then. So CD players didn't come standard in cars, and I had like a CD player and like a little jack to play CDs in my car, and this man had etched and sketched his name in my CD player. Like, why would you do that? Why? Like, why? Do you hate me on the low? Like, why do you keep doing these things to me? Like, so it was great that Lewis and I reconnected and picked just right back up where we left off. I mean, he was just totally ingrained in my life again. He went to my job and like met everybody that I worked with. He met Swoopy Whoopie. He met Bear. He met my best friend Jennifer. He met my best friend Kate. Like, I mean, he and I just, you know, started just really incorporating each other into our lives again, and it was great. And I'm so grateful that I had that time because had I not had that time, like, I really feel like I would have hated myself. Like, if the last time I saw him was me shouting at him and smacking him, that would have just messed with me probably the whole rest of my life. So I'm really, really very grateful that he and I reconnected again, and I got more time with my friend. So like I said in my last video, I ended up moving back to Florida with my parents, and so of course I wasn't able to see Lewis as much anymore. I went back to Buffalo one time. I can't remember if I saw him or not. I want to say I didn't. It's like I moved in 2003. I went back to Buffalo a year later in 2004, and I did see Lewis though when he and one of our other friends came to Panama City. It was an hour away, so it was cool to like drive and go and pick them up from the airport and spend a little bit of time with them. We got so lost, it was so dark. I was very, very new to Florida, so I know where the heck I was going, so I managed to still pick them up. Lewis was on a later flight than our other two friends, and so it was crazy because then we had to find the airport again. Like, it was just like nuts, and then I had to help them find their hotel, and I don't even know how we managed to even get there. Like, I don't know, by the grace of God, because Lord knows GPS wasn't popular back then. Like, you guys got it so easy now. Like, millennial kids, like the younger millennials, just like do not understand like how hard it was for us back then. This is actually the last time that I really was able to have a face-to-face conversation with him, and that was either spring break of 2004 or spring break of 2005. I really just can't remember at the time. I want to say 2005, probably because we were legal enough to drink. I didn't actually wind up hanging out with him too much because I had a job, and so spring break wasn't something on my to-do list at the time, so I really didn't hang out with them much. Then I don't know how they got back to the airport, then they just took a cab. So that last minute, I think like purposely, like my brain like just engraved it, like that last time I saw him, we were all like a really big hugging group. We weren't so much, you know, the I love you group when we left each other, but really definitely big on hugs and things like that. And so like, I don't know, my brain imprinted that last hug. So I don't exactly remember like what he was wearing and, you know, all of that, but I feel like
just him walking towards me and hugging me off of the plane is just there.
So of course they went back to Buffalo, and Lewis, I guess, had met some girl, and I don't know if he was dating her at the time that I saw him, but he was dating some girl, and he told me over AOL Messenger that we couldn't be friends anymore, that we couldn't talk or whatever anymore because he had met some girl, and they weren't talking, you know, like she wasn't going to talk to any of her guy friends anymore, and he wasn't going to talk to any of his girlfriends anymore, and I don't know, like, how true that was, and I don't necessarily know why I was singled out. I mean, like, obviously, I wasn't a threat, living way in Florida, so I don't know. I mean, I know that people grow apart, and I know that people change, and I know that relationships definitely change people too, so that was definitely a really hard pill to swallow, and I don't know exactly what was said, but I'm pretty sure I had some strong words for this because I'm like, this is happening like again, like, you know, somebody else is coming between our friendship and being young. We were, you know, so young. We were 21, 22, you know, like maybe we were 20. Like, so, you know, we were 21, 20, 21, 22, between that age, and it's like, we, or me, you know, I hadn't really learned, you know, that you can't hold on to all of your friendships when you're in a relationship. I just hadn't. I hadn't had a single ounce of experience in that kind of a thing. So, you know, it was really hurtful that I'm like, you know, you're letting me go. Like, you know, it sounds like you're dumping me. Like, you're breaking up with me. And so we didn't talk again after that night that he told me that. And, I mean, I don't remember what was said, so I don't, you know, feel like, oh my God, like these are my last words to him. But, I mean, it wasn't pleasant, and it was the last conversation I had with him ever. There was a lot of hateful comments on the news articles surrounding everything that happened with him, and I'll post a link to like one of the like more, you know, straightforward this is what happened in my comment section, you know, so that you guys can just read a little bit more about what happened to him that night. I want to discuss it because one, I wasn't there, and so a lot of what I know is coming from just talking to my friends about it, and from what they know and about what the news reported and stuff like that. I've never talked to his family and gotten any insider information or anything, and I talked to his brother about doing this video because I didn't want to do anything that was going to cause them more stress or, you know, be disrespectful in any way. And, you know, I told him, like, I was just doing this video to remember my friend. Just everything
cried and cried for days. And I couldn't go to his funeral because I was living in Florida, and I had just started a new job the week before. And I just couldn't go, and it was so empty not being able to go to his funeral because I felt like there was no closure. Like, I had like the loss of my life, and it's hard. I asked God to give me peace about the situation and to dry my tears and to just let me function. Like I had to have that. Like I couldn't literally drown in my tears, and I felt like that's what I was doing because I had no closure. There was no goodbye. God definitely did give me peace about the situation, and I was able to, have some, calming in my spirit about everything, and I was able to just say my own goodbye to him. I think that if Lewis had a voice, that he would say that he would want other kids and other people to be able to avoid the situation that he got into that night. And so I hope that you all will share this video with maybe younger people that you know, so that maybe someone can make a different decision than he did. There's a lot of, news stories about like hazing and different things that go on in fraternities, and I'm not blaming a fraternity on this. I mean, it could have just been any, group of friends that were together and, drinking, and things get out of control, and, people get hot-headed and people hype each other up. So it doesn't have anything to do necessarily with a fraternity, but at the same time, it's a very real situation that young people will make quick decisions and not understand consequences. Because I will blame the fact of us being young. I don't think that maybe a 30-year-old Lewis would have made these same choices. So please comment on this video if you felt like you were inspired or touched by it. Give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and also, like I said, please share the video. I really feel like it's an important thing for young people to understand, and to be able to see a face of someone that was so full of life and had such a full life and so much potential ahead of them, but it was cut short. And I think that sometimes kids think that bad things only happen to bad people, but good people can make bad choices. And that's definitely something I want people to be able to take away from this video. And like I said, the kids that I've worked with in the past, and also my nieces and nephews, and I tell them all the time, because his situation is still really real to me. Like, all of us are one bad decision away from ruining the rest of our lives, and I tell the kids that all the time because I want them to remember that when there's peer pressure and when somebody's trying to get you amped up to do something that is wrong. I need you to understand that this is a reality, and I need you to be able to put a face to it. And this is my story about my friend. Like, this is putting a face, like a real, true story. And so I hope and pray that they understand that. So I hope and pray that this can be inspiring to other people. I hope that maybe it can be thought-provoking to other people, and that maybe you would think about Lewis when you're at that bar, or you're at that club, or you're at that party, or you're just at a crossroads in general in your life. So this is his story. Not being able to properly say goodbye to my friend is probably the most horrible thing ever. And not being there to do anything for him, like feeling, I'm sure some of our friends have thought this at some point, like, you know, God, I wish I was there. Like, if I was there, if I was there. And so I hope that young people will understand that, you know, it's not just you either, but you have to look out for your friends, and you have to be a good friend. And Lewis was a good friend, and he thought that he was being a good friend by helping his friend. Like, the other moral of the story is for friends not to put other friends in harm's way. If you truly care about your friends, you would never do anything that could possibly hurt them or cause them any grief, put them in jail, you know, and it's just so very sad and unfortunate. And I hope that in telling his story, it will save any kid from doing the same thing, any kid from making the same decisions, any kids from drinking and fighting. So to my friend in heaven, I hope and pray that you are watching over my baby. And I hope that you got to meet my grandma too. The hole in my heart that you left is still so big. But I know that I will see you again.